Guys, we are back with Gabby's Real Talk, and I am in my Blake Lively bag today, wearing my beanie. I should have worn like maybe 4 more so I can match the character from It Ends With Us. But anyways, I wanted to discuss the recap for Season 1, Episode 8, Business and Pleasure of Dexter Original Sin. I'm going to be referring to a website that's called soapcentral.com, and it did an awesome job doing a recap of this episode. So I'm going to be following a little bit of it behind the scenes, looking at it so I can discuss it with you guys. But I think it did a good job at kind of just formulating everything that happened within the episode. So of course this episode starts off with a bang because we find out that it's confirmed that Captain Spencer is the kidnapper, and he did kidnap his son, and he did cut off his finger, and he did end up sending it over to the Miami Metro and put on a big scene in front of everyone. Oh my God, my son's finger. Oh, I said, Patrick Dempsey, you doing all right. You definitely working for that check. And outside of Grey's Anatomy, I've seen him here and there. There was a really great shot. I'm going to try and find it and see if I can put it in this video when I edit it. There was a really great shot of him. I remember it looking up at his face and it being dark behind him. And I said, is Patrick Dempsey giving villain? Wow. I'd never seen him like that. And it's kind of like Hugh Grant. That was just in a film. I think it was an A24 movie that was about 2 like Mormon type people or whatever come into the door and he locks them in. I'd never seen Hugh Grant as a villain either. So it's kind of giving me that same vibe as like, former dreamy guy turning villain. I don't know. I like this arc. Back to the episode recap. So we find out that Captain Spencer is in fact the kidnapper, and I'm gonna just watch how this unfolds, because first of all, why? What's going on? Do you want attention, babe? I don't know. I do remember him and his wife arguing like towards the beginning of the season, and the son sitting there playing a video game with Dexter. So I'm just wondering how this all is going to come full circle. But as I had mentioned on my previous video, the last episode for Original Sin is actually, I think, either Valentine's Day or the day after Valentine's Day. So there's like 2 episodes left. So we got about 2 episodes to figure out why. Okay, so after that, Dexter, he continues to dig into Captain Spencer's shady ass dealings, because when Dexter had found the blood spatter, like a piece on his sleeve, I think, or something, and his arm was messed up, Dexter was, his instincts were like, there's too many coincidences, okay? It's just not giving. So Dexter's on to Captain Spencer, and I know it's giving Captain Spencer's Dexter's next victim. I'm calling it. He's his next victim. So Harry doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe Dexter that Captain Spencer could be doing this, but he's not giving up on it, and he's continuously trying to pinpoint things that Captain Spencer is doing. And one thing that Captain Spencer did do is set up this fake ass SWAT raid for all of the cops at Miami Metro to come in and swarm this house. That was basically a part of a plan from Captain Spencer from the last episode, where he gave his son's jersey to some shady ass dude, and it ended up being in the SWAT raid. Oh my God, look. I was like, what is this? Everything's going according to plan, which I love / hate. So that SWAT raid basically just put the eyes on somebody else, and his son, I think his son's Nicky. Yeah, Nicky. Nicky was never found. Or hasn't been found. So we're looking out for Nicky. Hey, shout out to my boy Nicky. So as I had mentioned before, this episode is definitely setting the groundwork and foundation for, I guess, relationships and kind of just how these characters begin to move in this universe, because you see the pairing of Harry and LaGuerta, where they're going on their own mission. And what did Harry find when they were going through old case files? B. Moser. Who's B. Moser, you might ask? Dexter's brother. Brian Moser, the ice truck killer. I said, what? B. Moser, what are you doing here? And Harry, he took that paper out real quick. He said, oh, you're not about to find me, but he should realize that LaGuerta, when she feels something, one thing I like about these characters, when they got an inkling, they got an inkling. It's giving inkling. So to wrap this part up, she starts being suspicious of Harry because Harry found the B. Moser file that was associated with the NHI murders that they're looking into. So Dexter and Brian are going to cross paths like they did in Dexter when he killed him. But it's tying everything together because the episode ended with Brian, Dexter, and Laura Moser, their mom, in that shipping container with the chainsaw. Born in blood. I just can't. It gives me chills thinking about it. Like, I love stories that are deep and I can do, like, watch the character development. I live for it. So that was that part about Brian Moser. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the show and watching Dexter and his paths cross. The next part that happened, that was basically the main focus of the entire episode, is, you can hear the dog, is Deb. Okay, this is where we lay down the foundation for her terrible choice in men. This girl doesn't have much discernment. I'll give her that. I'm like, your dad's a detective, your brother's like some smart genius working with the cops too. She becomes a cop, but somehow she always dates shitty men. I don't know, Harry. It's like the age-old story where the young girl doesn't feel like she has any attention at home, so she finds it elsewhere, okay? And in this episode, Deb is basically taken on a date on a boat with her boyfriend at the time, the guy with all the money. He's there doing some God knows what business. These shipping containers, well, not shipping containers, these big like shipments are being put on the boat. And she's like, what is that? Let me go check it out. Let me be a hot boy. He's like, get off the boat. I'm going to leave you. Long story short, she's crying on the beach in this foreign ass place that she's at. She's not in Miami no more. She went over state lines, country lines, whatever. Who shows up? Dexter. And that's a regular in this show. Not even just Original Sin. Dexter is always saving Deb. He's like the knight in shining armor coming down to save her. And that's how the entire series of Dexter was. He's always saving Deb. Always. She's like a damsel in distress. And maybe that's why she ends up falling in love with Dexter, her brother. I don't know. There's a little bit of issue behind that. A little bit of a little suspect there. And the interesting part about this episode was it was the minute details, like when the lady that works in the filing room, I don't remember what her name is, but she's there throughout the show. She loves her key lime pie, that lady. She said, Dexter, don't forget, you can always ask about her boat. And that's when he realized, maybe I could use this boat for more. He did end up using that boat to go get Deb and find her. But this is just the beginning of Dexter being the Bay Harbor Butcher and putting his victims at the bottom of the ocean. And there, like he said, they just disappear. Yeah, they disappear, but not for too long. I really did like this episode. Again, Dexter didn't kill anybody, but I do call him killing Captain Spencer. Or maybe him and Harry do like a duo type thing, because Harry's like, nah, you deceived all of us. You used all of our resources to find your son. Whole time it was you. I'm really getting excited to think about what this could possibly mean for the show and how relationships are changed. I don't know. I feel a big bang coming. But again, there's 2 episodes left. I've watched Dexter, the series, I think 4 or 5 times in a row. Not in a row, but like back, like rewatched, so I could catch all the details. Oh, Prado. What is his name? Prado. The one that he ends up killing in like what, season 2 or 3? He was in this episode. It was LaGuerta was leaving her house. And she goes, oh, that's Prado. he's in law school and sometimes we mess around. It's just things like that that have me excited. So anyways, thank you guys for checking out my recap for season 1, episode 8 of Dexter Original Sin, Business and Pleasure. And I'll probably do a final recap for this series when the last episode of this first season airs right after Valentine's Day, which I'm looking forward to. So you guys let me know how you're liking the show so far and what you're looking forward to.